Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Aggie Experience Live. Congratulations to you and everyone admitted to UC Davis. You're going to make a great class of 2024. We're happy you and your families are joining us again today. I'm Katerina Contreras, proud Aggie alumni, class of 2014, and this is Winston. Everyone kept talking about Winston, so he's going to be making a few appearances today. All this week, we're showing you things I think will make you even more excited about becoming a UC Davis Aggie. Today, we're talking about everybody's favorite topics: housing, dining, and living in Davis, especially dining. Whenever I mention food, the chat practically explodes. It's like the online version of call and response. Okay, let's try it. When I say, hey, you write free food in the chat. Let's see if this works. Are you ready? Winston, are you ready? Hey, let's see. Yes, awesome. I can't actually physically give you free food, but we are gonna drop some links in there today, and some of you might be getting the chance to win free swag. Winston is so excited about free swag. I'm gonna put him down because I think he's gonna go prepare everyone for this free swag, so stay tuned. And we are recording this, so if you missed a segment or you just want to see it again, no problem. You can watch it at ucdavis.edu/Aggie Experience. If you have a follow-up questions about admissions, don't miss our chat session after this. Chat with live admission advisors starting at 5:15 p.m. at ucdavis.edu/QA. And if you have questions on literally just about anything, including the topics covered here, you'll find answers galore at ucdavis.edu/experts. If you didn't catch all those URLs, don't worry. We'll drop them right there in the chat so you can find them easily. And if you're watching live, you can submit questions using that Zoom Q&A button right there at the bottom of your screen. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you some housing and dining experts, but first I'm going to play you a very short intro video. Again, if you experience a little lag, remember, this is all new, so we're trying to make this work. Please be patient and be kind with your comments. All right, let's check this video out.
Interested in living on campus during your first year at UC Davis? Here's some of the things we have to offer. UC Davis has 3 residence hall areas for first-year students and on-campus apartments for transfer students.
One thing I really love about living in Tercero is the close proximity to a lot of my STEM classes.
So I was living in Live Oak in Tercero. So I ate at the main Tercero Dining Commons, and sometimes I would use the vegetables from the salad bar to put into my Mongolian wok, which was really great. So just finding ways to freshen things up.
Segundo is also an awesome place to live.
Segundo has the best food.
These residence halls are located on the west side of the campus, conveniently next to the plant sciences and psychology buildings. Next door to Segundo is the ARC, or the Activities and Recreation Center.
After a quick workout at the ARC, some of you will come back here to the Cuarto residence hall area. It's unique because instead of double or triple occupancy rooms, Cuarto residents live in suite style layouts.
As a first-year student, you have the opportunity to choose to live in a living learning community or shared interest community. This style of living allows students to enjoy unique activities related to their respective communities.
All 3 residence hall areas are home to award-winning dining programs, which contain multiple platforms with a variety of cuisines. If you're looking for a quick snack, every resident hall area has a market where you can get a drink and a sandwich.
All the housing areas have a games and recreation center, so you can relax.
And the service center has games and sports equipment you can check out.
All the residence halls also have dedicated laundry rooms, mail rooms, and kitchens.
Worried about printing or struggling with the class? Every residence hall has access to a computer lab with printers and the residential academic center with tutoring for first-year students.
All the residential housing areas on campus are extremely close to your classes, the library, the Memorial Union, and even downtown Davis.
You can always go to downtown Davis. It's really close by, and just want that lovely melty chocolate in your mouth. Just go to Insomnia Cookies at 2 a.m. If you're looking for high quality Italian food, go to Paisano's. Their pasta is brilliant.
Which is why living on campus is such a great experience for your first year here at UC Davis.
Let's introduce our first panelists of the day. With us today are 3 people from Student Housing and Dining Services, Residential and Hospitality Services Director Donnell Davis, Aggie student Nick Wiley, and Resident Director Perry Palleja. It's gonna take just a second. Yes, hello, Donnell, how are you?
Hi, Kat, great to see you again.
Great to see you. In just a second, everyone is going to be popping on, and I want to remind everyone to submit your questions in the Zoom Q&A. We have 3 professionals here. They're waiting to answer these questions. Perry, hello.
How's it going, Kat?
It's going really good. Winston's hanging out over here. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I'm so excited to see all these wonderful UC Davis students. Oh my God.
Yay, I'm so excited. In just a second, Nick is going to pop up, but we are going to start out with Donnell until Nick comes here, okay? So Donnell, you're the Residential and Hospitality Services Director at Student Housing and Dining. Can you tell us about what you do there and what services you offer?
Absolutely. So my team is actually responsible for all of the incoming students that are going to be submitting applications, getting their contracts signed to come and live with us in both our residence halls and our apartments, but also to make sure they secure their meal plan. So that will be my team helping all of you do those things.
Okay. So everyone is basically going to talk to you, Donnell. And so what services do you offer exactly?
I don't know that we have enough time in the day to go over all the services at Housing and Dining.
Top priority that everyone
Top priority. Well, top priority would be a place to sleep and, of course, a place to actually, it's really funny because we like to refer to our housing as residence halls, and that's really important because some people say dorms, and so I'm going to educate y'all because dorms are just a place to sleep, whereas residence halls is a place where you really experience life, get to meet your friends, eat, and so on. Perry, you want to share a few of the other services?
Yeah, so we have so many things here at UC Davis just to support students just like you. You have people like me, so I am the resident director. You often might hear, right, you go to college and you meet your RA. We actually call them community assistants here at UC Davis moving into the fall quarter. And so I'm kind of the person who supervises these CAs. And so we'll help you whether you're locked out of your room, you're really struggling with that roommate issue, any of those sort of things is kind of what my team will deal with. And so we are really there to make sure that you have a great living experience. And in terms of that also comes with a lot of programming. So we may throw in some fun things like let's do a tie-dye night or let's play a game night. Let's do some arts and crafts and make kind of cool things. Or we might even learn something about like how to get into medical school. Because I think a lot of you, right, are pretty smart students and medical school is probably on your places to go. Not now, but soon.
Eventually. It's making it sound like it's a real community, not just where we're sleeping. And oh, there's Nick.
Hello. I am so sorry. My internet was being dumb. It just kicked me off.
Nick, I know you were looking for the free swag. Don't lie to us, okay? You don't have to make up some type of excuse. We understand. I was just about to skip your question, but right now I want to know what your residential experience was like.
Oh, it was awesome. This is completely just full, true everything.
All right.
Living in the res halls was awesome. Okay, I lived in Segundo in Reagan Hall. It was great, so much fun. It's just, you meet so many fun people there. I met all my friends in the res halls. I met 12. There are 12 people in my friend group. I met them all on my floor. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and we're all living together next year, this year. Yeah. It's great. It's really fun.
Just like what Perry was saying, a true community. And,
yes, exactly.
Donnell, how much does it cost to live on campus? I know that's a broad question, but cost is a big topic for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's 2 variables. that go into housing, right? So there is room occupancy. So whether you're in a double room or a triple room, those are the primary room configurations that we offer. And it'll be really important that folks know that triples are primarily what they'll be in. So there's the room occupancy, and then there's also the meal plan. So we have 2 meal plan offerings, basically a 5-day or a 7-day. And so students can actually go onto our website at studenthousing.ucdavis.edu to determine, you know, what occupancy they're leaning toward and which meal plan, and that'll help them figure out what it costs.
Okay, that's very, very, very helpful. Are rooms furnished in the residence halls?
Yes, that is a sweet deal. So every student gets a bed, they get a desk, a dresser, lamp, and then in some cases a wardrobe for their clothes, and others have small closets. So fully furnished. Just bring all your fun stuff to put up on the walls.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to decorate, right? So how do you find a roommate?
Yeah, so right now students can actually go online to their My Housing portal to apply for housing once they've SIR'd. And through that process, they actually can search for roommates. So they can enter in their preferences. I like to sleep late. I like to, you know, wake up early. I don't know, I like dogs, whatever your preference is, and search for different roommates. So.
Oh, okay. So you are literally making a match in heaven.
We are, and students can, if they have someone that they know will be coming to Davis and that they already want to room with, again, they can pair up through that process.
Amazing. And so right now we are actually getting a lot of questions from everyone. And I do want to remind everyone to continue to submit those questions right in that Q&A box on your Zoom screen at the bottom. But first, this question is for Perry or Donnell. Yasmin says, I would like to live in the Segundo area. Is there anything I can do to ensure that I get a dorm there? I already filled out the housing app, but there wasn't a page for that specifically.
You want me to go?
Answer it.
No, yeah.
I teased Perry. I said, I'm going to put all the questions to you. So we do not allow students to necessarily go in and select the area, but let me tell you, every residence hall area, and if you saw in that video, everybody reps their particular residence hall area. Cuarto, Tercero, Segundo, they love them all. So while there's no way to guarantee you to stay in Segundo or Tercero, we do have or Cuarto, we have a pretty liberal room transfer policy as long as there are rooms available. So you could always put in for a transfer later if there's something available for you.
Perfect. Another question for Perry or Donnell. Nick, we will get to you, I promise.
Cool.
Diana wants to know, how long does it usually take to access the housing portal once you have once you've mailed your check to the cashier's office?
So I'm going to make some assumptions here in that we're talking about the SIR payment. I mean, I don't know if that's what we're talking about. So
sure, yeah.
The way the process works is once you submit your SIR, within 24 hours, you should have access to the My Housing portal. Now, the very first thing you have to do is submit your reservation fee for housing, which is $500. That actually applies towards your fall quarter fees for housing. Once you submit that, it does take about 24 hours if you're doing it electronically to post to your account before you can move forward in the application. But if you're mailing it in, it's going to take a little bit longer. And as we know, the Postal Service, we call it snail mail sometimes for a reason. So just be patient.
Definitely. And so I know we just talked about this, but our Q&A and chat is blowing up right now about roommates. Yeah. So I kind of want to go over that just one more time. I think Perry maybe can talk about it of how our roommates are chosen. And if you have a group, how do we make sure that that group we can, get connected with?
Yeah, I'll touch upon it a little bit, and Donnell, feel free to jump in as well. Again, as Donnell mentioned, you do have the opportunity to choose who you want to live with. So if you have like a family friend or someone you both just got into Davis, you actually both can list each other on the housing application. In addition, if you're just like, I don't know anyone going to UC Davis, but I want to find a roommate that I can vibe with, there is that Facebook group. I believe that you all should be getting invited to or already are invited to. And in there you can just be like, hey, this is the type of person I am. If you like me, swipe right. If you don't, go left. It's so just think of it as like a nice process. But again, as Donnell mentioned, if you get 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the housing situation, you're like, this is just not working out. So long as we have space available, we can move folks around and you can transfer.
Amazing. And from Nick's experience, it sounds like, I mean, you have lifelong friends now, and you're next year.
It's great. I think if you have a good roommate, it really makes your whole college life, your whole first year in the res halls, like just great. Even if you have so the roommate game is kind of like you can get a bad one, but even if you do get a bad one, you can suggest to move, but there is ways that you can mediate with your roommate in case things go off. So Perry, I think you can maybe touch up on this, but the community advisors, the CAs, there are certain things that they can do if you are having issues with your roommates, where, for instance, at the start of the year, you will have a roommate contract. And with that roommate contract, you put in like, okay, I want, let's just say the cleaning, I want the carpets to be vacuumed like every once a week or whatever. Let's just say your roommate doesn't do that, and you want to bring your CA into that. They can help you and they can mediate the conflict, and hopefully everything will work out in the end.
Oh, wow. So we have mediators on the floor too. That's perfect.
Yes.
We have another question from Anonymous. Actually, before I say that, do we have any international students watching? If you are international, I want to see that chat blow up. Say international, where are you at? We have an international question. Do international students move in earlier?
So the answer is yes and no. So this year, because we have orientation that will be happening right before students would typically move into the residence halls, our engineer, sorry, I have a toddler, everyone, so she's like, hi, how are you? That's awesome. So international students can move in 2 days. It's September 23rd and 24th. And if there's a need because of flights or something else, they can reach out to us at studenthousing@ucdavis.edu to let us know, because we know flights don't always go out when we want them to go out. So they can let us know and we can figure out how to accommodate them.
Perfect. And we have another question about dogs. Obviously, I am a dog lover. You met Winston. Question is from Diane. Is it possible to have service dogs in training in the dorms? I'm planning on raising a service dog with guide dogs for the blind during my first year at UC Davis. Perry?
Yeah, I can take that away. So service dog, I don't know if the in-training part maybe a little bit need more information on that. But if you do need a service dog, we do have forms that you can fill out that we can give you access to provide that. I myself actually have an emotional support animal. So my little dog, he's a 5-month-old Australian Shepherd. He lives with me here in the residence halls. And so students also do have that opportunity, because we do want to support students, right? There's a lot of mental health needs going on in the community. And we want to make sure that you are as successful as possible. And if that means bringing your little furry fellow with you, then that is something that we can definitely support. So hopefully nothing crazy. You can't bring a cow in your room, no horse, nothing like that. But if you got a dog or a cat or something that's on our list of approved animals, we can definitely work with you. And it's always nice just to see, animals frolicking around UC Davis. Students love them.
And if I could just add a little bit to that, that's perfect, Perry. Students, if you have a emotional support animal or a service animal, then you'll want to go through our accommodations process. So when you're completing your housing application, make sure that you indicate that you have an accommodation need that you would like us to work with you on. So that all can be put in during your application.
Perfect. And this question is for Nick or Perry. From Anonymous, would you suggest putting in a learn living or shared interest community?
Ooh,
So
that's tricky.
yeah, I think Anonymous is referencing living learning communities. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So It all depends on what your interests are. I'm pretty sure there's a music LLC. I was actually looking into that one. The only reason why I didn't do it is just because I didn't think I was going to be super into music as like other people. So that's the only reason why. But yeah, there's different LLCs for, I'm pretty sure there's a African American diaspora one, I'm pretty sure. There's the music one I referenced. There's a Chicano and Chicano one. I think it's called Casa, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they're great communities for you to live with like-minded peers for your whole first year.
Carrie, anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I mean, again, the real big difference is one of them is usually very identity-based. So as Nick talked about, one of them may be like CASA or APAD, Asian Pacific Islander community. The shared interest is more like the interest, right? So it could be like, I like to play music. So like as Nick mentioned, we do have a music, arts, and performance community. So again, it's nothing crazy. It's just like, hey, if you like to play the piano and he likes to play the guitar, like sure, let's live together. So there are other things like pre-health as one of them. Usually sustainability. So along those lines, those are just kind of interests rather than like identity-based communities. But honestly, you can't go wrong either way. You'll make friends. Even if you find a community that you like, you can always switch into one as well, as long as there's space. So can't go wrong with the community.
Hey, more options, the more the merrier. We have another question. Do all buildings, from Summer, do all buildings floors have kitchens? All buildings and floors, I believe. It was worded a little weird.
So
No. Go for it, Nick.
Yeah, so it depends on the building.
Yeah. So
I lived in Reagan, like I said, in Segundo, and so we had different kitchenettes in the buildings. And so specifically for Reagan, there's 2-story buildings in there. So the 2-story buildings had little kitchenettes, but then the 3-story buildings did not have any kitchens. But there is something called Reagan Main, which has this huge kitchen. And so if the people in the 3-story buildings want to go and use the kitchen in Reagan Main, they can. This is the same thing for a bunch of other residence halls throughout campus.
Beautiful. I love it, Nick. You know all the information. We have time for just a few more questions right now. This one is for Donnell from Arjun. Sorry, I pronounced your name incorrectly. How fast are those dorms filling up right now? Should I enroll within 5 days?
So the great thing is that all of you, as long as you actually apply by the May 4th deadline, are guaranteed housing.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to repeat that again, because when somebody repeats something, it's very important. So as long as you do everything that you are supposed to do by that May 4th deadline, you will be guaranteed housing. So do what you have to do so we can get you in.
Put that in the calendar.
Right.
And Michael had a similar question of, is there an advantage to signing up for housing sooner or earlier? I feel like that might have answered the question as well.
Nope, as long as everybody gets it in, and just so you know, we won't start doing assignments of everyone until later, and so students won't get their actual room assignments until mid-August. Okay. And so that gives us a chance to see what everyone's preferences are and make those housing decisions. So there's not a real benefit except that peace of mind of knowing that you did what you needed to do early.
Perfect. And I know we talked about this just a little bit, Perry and Nick touched on it, but I want to go a little bit more into detail. Jody asked, are certain majors put in certain res halls? Also, the video mentioned something about a community living option with people in your major. Can you explain that option as well?
Perry, you want to go for that one?
Sure, I will. Thanks, Donnell. So we don't really place people, we don't really place all the animal science majors in this building and that building, unless, like I said before, it's a shared interest that we've identified in our communities that we are offering. So which is right, it's a great opportunity for you to meet a whole bunch of different people, whether you have a philosophy major, you have the animal science major, you have the chemistry major. So they are very spread out. There's not like all the majors go on this particular building. And so that's the animal science building, don't go there. So they are spread out, so don't worry about that part.
Perfect. Actually, we just got one more question. I keep saying one more question, one more question. We're trying to get all of the answers for everyone. This is for Nick or Perry, even Donnell. Anonymous, are residential halls co-ed? Can opposite genders go into one another's room?
So I can touch on that. I think it depends on the building for being co-ed. In my building, I lived on the second floor. The second floor was co-ed, but the bottom floor was single ed. It was all guys. Yes, you can go into an opposite genders, a person of opposite genders bedroom. However, with permission, you can't just walk in there. Please ask first. Also, on that, don't just barge into people's rooms. Please don't do that. You are given an access code for your specific room. That access code does not work on any other person's room, only on yours. So if you do want to go into someone's room, please knock first if their door is closed. Even if it's open, just give a nice little knock. Say hello. Can I come in? So yeah, just be courteous. Don't go into people's rooms without them knowing. Yeah, be smart.
Perfect. Perry, anything to add?
Yeah, just to add to Nick's thing too, we do recognize there are folks out there who have different cultural or religious needs. And so we do have buildings that are like designatedly like all. That doesn't mean like men or other genders can't go in there, right? Obviously, if they want to go in your personal room, they need permission. But people can freely go into different rooms. They have that. Usually, like Nick mentioned, the floors itself are co-ed, but the rooms, like I'm a male, identify as male, I'm not going to be placed with the female occupant. So all of that will be kind of sorted out for you all.
Perfect. It sounds like the questionnaire is really in detail, in depth, to just know all of those preferences. And you three are definitely working hard to make sure everyone is happy. And with that, I want to say thank you so much, Donnell, Perry, Nick. You made this amazing, and thank you for joining us for Aggie Experience Live. Up next, we are talking about food, but we will see you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Before we talk about food, I do want to say that there are some unauthorized links being shared in that Zoom chat. So just be careful. Some of them are not from UC Davis. I will let you know when we share those links. So be very, very careful. All forms and information from the university will be online on the UC Davis website. So be vigilant, everyone out there. Next up, it's food. Glorious, glorious, glorious food. Can everyone in the chat blow it up? Food, let me see. Food, yes. Oh, everyone is the best right now. All right, but first, I know from experience, is it swag time? How about we switch and say swag? I need to see if everyone wants swag. The swag, yep, there it is. I mean, we have so much swag. Look at this. We have sunglasses, pom-poms. I love the hat. Oh, this water bottle. I love the water bottle. Coffee mugs. Oh my goodness. Everyone better keep blowing up the chat with swag. That's how I give swag away. I need to see the excitement, the true excitement. This is a swag bag. It's literally a prize pack for someone. And we have a pillow. We have a hat. I mean, should I keep wearing all of this throughout the whole entire event? One of my favorite swag items, look at this cup. It shrinks. Oh, I'm so excited about it. Oh, Winston's super pumped. So excited. Oh, notebooks. Oh, let me see how many swags. Yes, I saw Winston in there. He might be coming up in just a second. All right, so right now, I'm going to drop a link in the Zoom chat. Follow it to fill out our Google form for a chance to win some branded Aggie goodness. Yes, I'm so excited. Look at everyone's swag. Yes, remember, it is the UC Davis approved link. It is a Google form. Fill that out. I want to give you some free stuff. Next up, okay, we have another panelist from Student Housing and Dining Services. We have Executive Chef Roger Thompson and Aggie students Alex Fisher-Wagner and Catherine Yanogaicio. Let's see. Oh, Roger, hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm doing so good. I apologize if I butchered your name or Catherine's name or Alex's name. So if you want, just give a quick intro of yourself, Roger.
I'm Executive Chef Roger Thompson. I run Latitude here on campus. It's our newest dining facility. It's all global cuisine, really amazing food. You guys are in for a treat.
Oh, we love food. Everyone's blowing up the chat. Roger, you might be the man to talk to right now. Catherine, I think I butchered your last name. Could you introduce yourself, please?
That's all right. Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Yanagasio, student here at UC Davis.
Well, you have to introduce the little girl or guy.
Oh, yes, I can't forget. This here is Coco.
Oh,
Been sitting with me this whole time.
And Alex, I'm sorry if I butchered your name as well. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alex Fisher-Wagner. I work for student housing and dining services as a multimedia specialist.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, I do want to remind everyone to submit your questions in those Zoom Q&A and Facebook Live. We have 3 people ready to answer your questions. We're going to start out with Roger because you have the chef outfit on right now, and I know everyone is watching and excited to hear about it. So you're the executive chef at Latitudes, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, like I said, Latitude is our newest project here on campus. We just opened in January. I spent over a year in a test kitchen here on campus, developing all the recipes, doing the research. Like I said, it is all global cuisine. We feature foods from Asia, Latin America, Europe, India, the Middle East, starting some research on Africa currently. So it's really like nothing you've ever had on campus cuisine before. It's really, really amazing.
So how is it going to fit into UC Davis dining options?
Well, it's one of many options. There are 3 dining commons here on campus. They all run the same menu. We try to keep those the same. Latitude runs its own program of global cuisine. We also have a retail department as well that has like fast casual like burgers, like fast food burgers. We have a full service deli. We're opening a sit down restaurant called Gun Rock that will be open in the fall as well. And then we have like a fast burger, not necessarily fast food, but like a higher end burger place called Scrubs over by the Vet Med Center.
That's where you'll find me. So if you have some special dietary needs, what are my options there?
Oh, we have a full-time dietitian here on campus. So if you do have dietary needs, you can get with her, and they'll set you up with a full meal plan. We'll plan out your menu by week, and then our team of sous chefs are all trained on allergens and all dietary needs and all that, and we'll take exceptional care of you.
Okay, and say I am just a food connoisseur and I want to get more involved with the menu. How can I do that as a student?
Well, we do have a text-in program where you could text feedback in, and all the members of management for each unit get those texts, and we definitely read them. We take everything you guys have to say into account, and we try to adjust accordingly to please, the demands.
I would also like to add to that, as students, every month or so, the Dining Commons will host an event where you can go and taste test some of the foods that they'll be preparing for like their theme meals, like Star Wars night or Harry Potter night. And you can taste those meals, and I don't think it gets counted against with your swipes as well. So you can go there for a free meal. It's great, and you just provide a little bit of feedback as to what they might be able to do better, and just offer some insight into some of those meals.
Definitely. And Catherine, I want you to give us some insights right now. What are your favorites and why? We need to hear from your experience.
Favorite places to eat on campus?
Favorite places to eat on campus, your favorite foods. What do you recommend for all of these new students? They have no idea.
All right. I've been going to Latitude basically every week since it's opened.
Roger.
It's really great to go. But like I'm half Colombian, so I've seen some Colombian meals being presented there, and it's really great to just see something from home presented very authentically. And also I'll just go there right before class and study after I eat, because it's right next to the science lecture hall, where you might have one of your general education classes. Aside from that, I like eating at the Silo, at the Crate Place. The Coho is really great too. That one's completely run by students. They have great sandwiches, pizza, pho if you want pho, or any of the DCs really.
Alex, what about you? Tell me some of your favorites.
Latitude, I was anticipating it opening and I fell in love with all the food options there. It's so amazing to see like all these different cuisines coming together, and it's all super authentic with really like bold flavors. And I definitely find myself eating there at least once a week. But also, going to Spokes, which is it's in the silo, which is in the center of campus. It's got burgers, it's got fries, you can get a shake. And that's like, one of those nice spots that you can just jump to for a quick meal. Other thing that I used a lot of my Aggie Cash, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions about Aggie Cash, but I used a lot of my Aggie Cash here my freshman year, and that was at the food trucks. There is a plethora of food trucks that come on a rotation. Honestly, you can't get sick of them because there's just so many different ones. And, there's always something new. There's sometimes one I've never even heard of, and it's just a lot of fun to try them. So definitely recommend Latitude. Definitely recommend trying the food trucks. Honestly, just like going around trying all the different food. Davis is a very foodie city, so take advantage of that. You're in a really great place for food and agriculture.
Amazing. And we're actually going to get into Aggie Cash next. We have a Q&A question, but first I wanted to ask Roger, how does that make you feel that the two favorites are Latitude? I saw you give me a little boom, boom over there. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel great.
Yeah. All that hard work is paying off, right, Roger?
That's right. It definitely was a lot of hard work, but very fulfilling and definitely worth it.
I love it. Okay, so we have a question for Alex, and I'm sure Catherine may be able to also touch on this. What is Aggie Cash? Where can we use it? Explain that.
Yeah, so Aggie Cash, when you decide to live on campus, you will get a residential meal plan. It will come with a 5 to 7 day meal plan that you'll use at the Dining Commons or Latitude. Basically how that works is you can swipe into any of the Dining Commons or Latitude as many times as you want within that 5 day period or 7 day period, depending on which one you choose. In addition, though, you'll get Aggie Cash, and Aggie Cash is a declining debit account. So it's like having a debit card that's preloaded with cash that can be used at certain on-campus dining locations. This includes the retail markets that we have around campus, Spokes, the food trucks, and a lot of other options as well. And with it, it's basically money that you can use, and some places have a discount. And honestly, it was a lot of fun. My freshman year, I used it at the markets to buy ice cream and chips, and that late night snack food that you need to get through midterm season. So that's my experience with it. I don't know, Catherine might have more to add.
Yeah, I think you can also use it. They've opened up some boba places on campus, I believe. So I think you can use Aggie Cash in the silo to buy boba, if I'm not wrong. So that's a really great option. You don't have to go leave campus to get your boba fix, and you can get it right there. And they have a large selection of like boba. I know some people were talking about Thai tea in the comments.
Yes, we have some Thai tea and boba fans out there. With our next question from Ronit, I'm an international student, and is there a vegan food available on campus?
Yeah, so I think one of the best parts about this, and I think Chef can probably touch on it as well, which is that we make sure that we are catering to all of our students and even just guests from outside of our campus. So there's vegan options. We make sure that there's vegetarian options, gluten-free options, any kind of dietary restrictions. We've come across it before and we're ready to handle it. Chef can probably, again, touch on this more than I can as he's helping make those recipes happen.
Yes, Alex, you're absolutely right. We do try to appeal to everybody at the 3 main dining commons. Each one of those has a dedicated vegan platform. So you'll have a different vegan option available during every meal period at those dining commons. And then at Latitude, like I said, our program's different. We don't necessarily have a dedicated vegan platform, but there's always lots of vegan options to choose from at any given meal period as well.
Amazing. And Chef Roger, we have a question specifically for you. And I think we are getting a lot of these types of questions, so it's a little broad. If students provide recipes, will y'all cook it in the global dining hall? And what's your signature dish, Chef Roger?
Let's see. Well, as far as if students provide recipes, we do run programs every now and then. We call it like a favorites from home. We'll ask for recipes from students and from their families, and then we'll explore the capability of producing those on campus. One challenge we do have is the scale that we have to cook recipes at. So that tends to affect which recipes we can and cannot do. As far as my personal signature dish, that's hard to say. I was
Top three. There you go.
Top three. Well, I was a sushi chef before I came here. Is one of my specialties. One of my favorites that we're doing here at Latitude is Brazilian steak called picanha. It's incredible Brazilian steak. I don't know if you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, but it's basically like the signature item from a Brazilian steakhouse. It's killer. What else? Anything French, I guess, would also be a specialty of mine that I spent a lot of time in my past.
Okay, love it. I mean, you got me at Brazilian steak.
I can guarantee everything that chef makes is beautiful.
Ooh,
Thank you.
A guarantee from Alex himself. All right, so question. We talked a little bit about vegan food, vegetarian food. What about other types of food like gluten-free? Are they all labeled? Where can they find it? Any other dietary restrictions if they weren't going to work with the dietitian?
We do have very clear signage in all of our dining options. We point out all allergens, allergens and dietary needs that each menu item kind of fulfills. We have different icons that show you if it's gluten-free, if it has nuts in it, all that. And you can always ask as well if you're unsure and you want to make sure you're doing, you're following your dietary needs. You can always ask a manager. Anyone in a white jacket will be able to help you out as well.
Perfect. And does Davis grow any of the food it serves? That's a question from Anonymous.
Yeah.
We do. We have a student farm here on campus that's entirely run by students, and we try to incorporate as much of their produce as we can. And they put out some really cool stuff. Alex, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. Not only so we have the student farm, which is run by students, and again, like we work with them about what food that we might need that they're growing that we can supply from them. And then also we have partnerships with local businesses as well as Aggie grown businesses, which are either alumni or even that are a part of UC Davis. For example, every year we get a massive amount of tomatoes from Russell Ranch, which is about a 10-minute drive away from campus. And with all those tomatoes, we make a bunch of tomato sauce. I got to actually experience what that was like last year, I believe. And just the sheer amount of tomatoes, but also how fresh everything is and how close to campus it is. That's one of the benefits, I think, of UC Davis's dining, which is that everything is incredibly fresh. Things are local, sustainable, and it just creates better food overall.
It just sounds, I'm drooling a little bit over here. Catherine, we have a question specifically for you. Are there certain times at Latitude or DC's where there is a rush and kids need to be aware of a delayed ability to get a meal? Talk to us about that timing.
Yeah, so I think the biggest rush back when I was a freshman would be around 6 o'clock is when everyone would go. But, the lines weren't too bad. You just sometimes the lines weren't bad at all, but you just go to wherever you want. And then you can also sample a lot of the foods, so you don't have to get in line for something only to find out later that you don't like it. So you can just go to the front, get a sample, and move on. There were certain platforms that definitely did have a bit of a longer line than others. And I think it also, having Latitude now open in Tercero, that's where I lived my freshman year, that should probably alleviate a lot of the rush that I saw. But if you go at 5, at every half-hour mark, I think that was the best. But honestly, I would just not worry about the rush and just focus on going with your friends, because eating at the DC's with friends is a really fond memory for me.
Oh, I love that. And Catherine, we have another question for you. How can guests come to eat with us at the Dining Commons if we want to bring someone?
Oh, okay. I remember I would swipe in some friends that weren't freshmen. I think you can still do that under the new.
It's a little different now.
Okay.
So you can have guests. You actually use your Aggie Cash now. So if you want to bring someone else, you can just come on, invite them over, and then you'll use your Aggie Cash. that declining debit account to bring it in your guests.
And so you keep saying swiping. Can you explain the process? You swipe in, and then do you have to choose only one dish, one option, or you have a variety? How does that actually work once you swipe on in?
I can answer that one. So once you're inside the DC, you can eat as much as you want. You're not limited to like one entree or like one dessert. You can have like several different entrees from each of the different like platforms, whether that be like pizza, like stir fry noodles. You can have a large variety within just that one night. And there's also like lots of dessert options, coffee options, and all of that is basically just buffet style. So you can get whatever your heart desires that day.
We have a question for Roger, for Chef Roger. It's from Alessandra. It's specific, but we can apply this to everyone. Is there any Peruvian food? Peru isn't really represented, and I can't live without it, Chef Roger. Talk to me.
We do have Peruvian food at Latitude, of course. One of our dishes is a pollo a la brasa, which is a traditional Peruvian grilled chicken. We serve that with roasted purple potatoes and I think a rice goes with that as well. We also have ceviche featured on our menu, and the DCs have a couple of different ceviches as well. So that represents Peru pretty well. And all of our programs are continuing to evolve and grow, so you'll see more of it as well.
All right, we have another question for Alex or Catherine, maybe both. How will freshmen know if they'll be eating on a meal plan or Aggie Cash?
Yeah, so if you're eating at the dining commons, you will be using your meal plan. And again, I mentioned this, you have either a 5-day or a 7-day meal plan. And how that works is you can choose the days that you'll go for a 5-day, or 7-day means your whole week. And the way it works is you swipe in as many times as you want during that day. There is not a set number of times you can swipe into the dining commons on that day. So let's say you have a 7-day meal plan and it's Monday, you can swipe in at 6 a.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. You can swipe in as many times as you want that day. It won't change how many swipes you have left because it's by day. You'll be using your Aggie Cash when you're not in the dining commons. So if you're at a market, food truck, any kind of retail store, even at Pete's Coffee on campus, that's when you'd be using your Aggie Cash.
Catherine, anything to add for that?
No, he covered that one well.
Pretty good. And for all three of you, is there any final thoughts, anything we didn't touch on, or anything that we can kind of help make this a little bit less scary, especially since this might be the first time anyone is going to go and choose their food on their own, or what type of plans to choose? Some advice. Anyone? No advice? No final thoughts?
Roger, you want to start?
I would say some advice, even if you say you go to the dining commons and you're looking at the menu and you think you might like a dish, but you don't, say, for example, you're looking at the burgers, but you don't like to have a bun with your burger. You can always ask. We have a program called Just Ask, where we're happy to customize any dishes that we're offering to better suit your liking or your needs. You know, if you want something left off, don't be afraid to ask. That's one thing I see a lot is people are afraid to ask for changes, and then they end up throwing half the food back to our dish return. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask. We're here to serve you, and we're happy to do it. So just ask us, you know, any changes we can make, we'd be happy to.
I think the one thing I would add, or two things quickly, I saw someone ask it, but Latitude is included with your meal plan. So if you want to swipe into Latitude instead of one of the dining commons, feel free to do that. But I do want to touch really quickly, one of my favorite memories from eating on campus, actually still one of my favorite memories, is the theme meals. So we host theme meals in the dining commons where the interior and the menus are themed around pop culture or destinations. Or one of my favorites, we do a competition amongst the different executive chefs called Chef Challenge. And they will have a theme and they'll compete against each other. And it's a lot of fun. Some amazing recipes have come out of it. And there's a big big belt that goes around with the winners. So it's a great competition, a lot of fun. So emails or something for you guys to all look forward to. That's all I have.
Catherine, before you go into your final thoughts, Chef Roger, did you win one of these challenges?
I have won that. I have.
Yes?
I don't have the belt with me currently, but
why not? Why are you not wearing it across your chest?
I should have.
How many times have you won, Chef Roger?
I've won it twice.
Woo! Alex, I mean, you did say anything Chef Roger cooks, you're going to be happy. You said beautiful. It's beautifully tasting. Those were the words.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Catherine, final words, final advice, some memories, anything you want to leave everyone?
Let's see. I think I just want to expand on what a DC is. You know, you can go there for food. A lot of people stayed after their meal to study, but at the nighttime, they have these things called late night events. So you can go swipe in and then get your food and stuff, but they'll have different activities going on. So I know they've done like a painting one, kind of Bob Ross style. They have game nights, which I've attended actually, I think this just last year. We did bingo. So it's just a good way to de-stress in addition to getting your brain the food it needs.
Well, thank you, all three of you. I think it's hilarious right now. If you see the chat, everyone is hyping up Chef Roger. They're saying better than
Chef
Bob
Roger.
Hey, better than all
Let's go, Chef Roger.
Hype up right now. I want everyone to keep, yes, let's go, Chef.
Yes, Chef.
Roger is going to be cooking all of your food, so we need to give him some love right now. Look at that, Chef Roger.
Nice.
I love it.
Right now. You see this?
Thank you, everybody.
Chef is famous.
All right, now, I mean, now expectations are high, Chef Roger.
I know. I hope I can live up to it.
The first day of class, you better wear that belt.
I know.
But right now, thank you all so much. Roger, Alex, and Catherine, we're gonna give a virtual clapping right now. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know, at UC Davis, we absolutely love surveys, and we want to know more about you, class of 2024, especially about your food choices. We're talking about food right now. So if this is something maybe you didn't know, I am actually a nutritionist. I went to UC Davis and have my bachelor's in clinical nutrition. I do not recommend eating one food for the rest of your life. I don't recommend it. But if you did, none of these would be advisable. Just want to say that. I want you to imagine what's the one food you would eat for the rest of your life. In just a second, we're going to have a poll that pops up on your Zoom screen. Yep. And you're going to choose, vote right now. Is it pizza? Is it boba? Tacos, pasta, burgers, sushi, pho, tikka masala. In the meantime, let me tell you about tomorrow's topic, which is student life. To find out what there's to do on campus, we'll look at Davis sports, art, and culture. We'll dive into many of the health and wellness programs, which I personally love, and we'll look into assistant programs for things like internships, career help, and study abroad. That's right, it will happen again. We only have about 20 more seconds with this poll, so get those votes in. One food that you would eat for the rest of your life. I'm talking breakfast, lunch, dinner. Let me see what those poll results. Get those in. You only have a couple more seconds, 10 seconds. Someone said grilled cheese in the chat. I love grilled cheese, okay? You dip it in tomato sauce or tomato soup. All right, our polls are up. Let's see. Pizza, 84. Boba, 52. Ooh, tacos, 112. Pastas, 159. Burgers, 55. The winner is sushi, though, 167. Pho, we did have 53. And tikka masala, we had 42. Sushi just, they beat everyone, every single person right now. All right, so it's time for our final topic today. It's the Davis community and what's it like living here. To break it down for us, here are two students from the Center for Student Involvement. It is Cesar Cuevas and Yesenia Alvarez. In just a second, they're gonna pop on up. Yes, Cesar, hello. You are, there we go. Yesenia, hi, how are you both doing?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing amazing. Yesenia, how are you? Doing good, doing good. We can't hear you yet. We'll see. There's a little technical difficulty. It's okay. We'll figure that out. Until we figure that out, I'm actually going to start with Caesar because I need you to explain this. What is the Center for Student Involvement?
So the Center for Student Involvement is where all the organizations on campus that are student run go for funding. They go to help get tips on how to recruit students. Students who want to create clubs and organizations that they feel are needed on campus go there as well to get help on how to start an organization, how to recruit students to be in your club, and even just to find clubs that you're interested in. So we do service every single student club on campus that's affiliated with UC Davis. So there's over 500 clubs, and we know that it's a lot. So you can go to us for recommendations on clubs. We have this thing called the Involvement Calculator. It's a little survey that you take, and then we send you back recommendations on clubs that you want to be affiliated with, and then you can decide whether or not to be in those clubs. There's no standard for you to be involved, but it's just recommendations from us.
Oh, okay. Yesenia, can we hear you? Little test.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello,
Okay,
Yesenia.
cool.
How are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm a third year biosci major. My position at CSI is that I'm the assistant to the director, or student assistant to the director. So like for me, I am like the first person you see when you walk into the center. I answer questions about how to start your own like student run organization, or how to join one that's already present. And we just help facilitate like who could be like your family in your home. And that's basically what I do there.
And so how did you get involved in the Center for Student Involvement?
So after my freshman year, I saw there was like an opening before there was Aggie Job Link. And I was super excited because I wanted to help students find their own clubs since I was really active in my student organizations. And so I applied, and unfortunately I couldn't do it that year because I was in another program and it conflicted. But then the director actually remembered me a year later, and she asked me if I needed a job, and I was like, yes, and I was super excited.
That's amazing. And so I just want to remind everyone watching right now to submit your questions right there in the Zoom Q&A. We have Caesar and Yesenia. I have lots of questions, okay? So I'm going to ping pong back and forth, all right? First one is, what is housing like after the dorms? Who wants that one?
I can take it. Well, so my experience is a little bit different. I was a transfer student, so I stayed at the dorms for 1 year, and we were guaranteed housing. I live right across from Segundo, the dining commons, so it was called Laurel. So there, I had the same experience with the meal plan and all that stuff as well. And after, the UC Davis actually provides a lot of good resources for students to find housing. They have a housing fair. The housing office is always available for you to go speak with them. And it's just about getting started on time. So you'll get a bunch of emails about the housing fair, and that's the time that you want to start looking for your next year housing, because the leases are usually like a year thing. So you have to make sure that you're getting in for that whole year and time to get the applications done and everything like that.
Okay. Yesenia, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, for me, I was like a traditional student. So as a freshman, I made really great friends in my dorms. I was dorming in Cuarto, and it's suite style. So it was a different experience, but I got like my closest best friends, and we all decided to get an apartment together. And at first it was really difficult because we didn't know where to start, but there are programs through the residence halls where they give you options and access to different apartments available. And we found one close near campus, and we went to sign our lease, and it was just really exciting. So I live like 5-minute bike ride from campus, and it's been really great.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So I'm happy that Davis has, those options for you to help find that living right after the dorm. So it makes it a little bit smoother transition versus just not knowing anything. One thing that Davis is very famous for, I heard that they're bike friendly. I actually know that they're bike friendly. So Caesar, what's the transportation scene like?
Yeah, so definitely a lot of bikes, especially for the first couple weeks. You'll see bikes, you'll think that it's a parade of bikes for something. It's just a crazy, like whatever you're thinking right now in your head about how many bikes you think there'll be, there's going to be more, I promise you. So it's a lot for the bikes for sure. I've seen people use the app bikes like City Bike or any of those. They have the scooters. You'll see people on motorized skateboards. Like it's just depending on how far you come from, then that's where that'll take on like what transportation you have. I had just a normal bicycle. It served the purpose for me to get to campus, anything like that. But definitely a lot of bikes is what you'll see.
So Yesenia, actually before I ask you this question, Yesenia, in the chat right now, if you're gonna ride a bike or you wanna ride a bike, I want everyone to comment bike right now. Let's see how many people are planning on having a bike. Let's see that. Oh, we have a lot more, Caesar.
Yeah.
And Yesenia, so you don't live on campus anymore. So if people live further away from campus, how is that transportation? Is there a lot to choose from?
Yeah, so like for me, I bike because it's close, but when it's raining, I don't like to bike in the rain because you just end up all wet and dripping, and a lot of people use raincoats and plastic bags, but for me, I just don't like it. So there's transportation like buses. There's a lot of buses. Some lines come every 30 minutes, some 15 minutes, depending on which area you live in Davis. So I live in downtown Davis. So I have like 4 lines right next to me. So whenever I need to go to Silo or the MU, there's always a bus available, even on the weekends.
Oh, perfect. I love that. And so do you think students generally feel safe on campus?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Caesar?
Yeah, actually, I'm part of a couple programs on campus, and as part of like our trio is a program I'm in, and they had a presentation from the Davis Police force that's there. So they're like, for the Davis community, they have their own police department, and they gave us a breakdown of what mostly it is bike theft is the main crime that's there. So just make sure when you take your bike, you have a lock that can't be clipped easily. And then another thing that we're experiencing is people stealing like laptops, just like running by when people leave them unattended in the MU or in libraries and stuff like that. So just kind of little stuff like that, nothing violent, nothing crazy. I mean, we did have that bear on campus, but
you had a bear?
Yeah, we had a bear on campus. So, there's just stuff like that happens, but it's definitely safe. I never felt threatened in my time there, so definitely a safe campus.
Awesome. And so we have a question from the audience, from Ahmad. Maybe both can touch on this. Ahmad wants to know, and I want to know this too, actually. This is my favorite part right here. What about working out or gyms? I know that the ARC, did it get remodeled? Since I'm old, okay? I graduated 10 plus, long time, okay? So I don't know. I heard it's remodeled though.
Definitely. The ARC, I was there for the first year when I got there, when they were remodeling, and it was still like kind of half of it was open, half of it was closed. There was weight racks on the basketball courts, and like there was limited access, but come this last year, it was all done and it looks great. There's 2 floors, there's equipment, there's basketball games always going on. They have their rec sports leagues there that are great. It's just a great experience overall. And then if you're a student taking classes there, you don't have to pay for it. So it was just great for me. It was one of the places that I frequented the most there.
Amazing. Yesenia, for you, for working out, did you mostly go to the gym or did you go outside or any other places?
So my freshman year, since I lived in Cuarto, it was really close to the ARC. So I would go to the gym like with my roommates, and it was really exciting. And now that it's new and remodeled, there has been more people going because it looks really nice. But since it's really far for me, since I live in downtown, it's like huge. That's like exercise over there, like just going over there. I get lazy, so my exercise is usually just biking everywhere because you bike a lot.
We have another question from, and I'm so sorry if I'm saying this incorrectly, I think it's Lucelis. I don't think the involvement calculator is working right now. Is there a right time to try that
out? So that does open and close for when the quarters start closer. Since I'm an involvement mentor, so that's one of my prime responsibilities is helping process those involvement calculators. So those they open and close closer to when the quarters start. So that's probably why it isn't working, but just because we close it, because right now nobody's joining clubs, so it'll reopen prior to your guys' admission, so you guys have time to do it with good enough time to get responses by the time you get to camp.
Is that August? Is that look for it more in August or September?
Yeah, definitely. And then we'll make sure to have it on our website on Aggie Life. You can always find it on there. It'll have the link open when it's available to fill out for students.
All right. So another question from Anonymous. I'm actually Greek. We're not talking about Greek people. We're talking about Greek life, okay? How is Greek life? Talk to me about that. Yesenia?
Well, I'm not actually in Greek life, but I do work with them in the CSI. And so we oversee like what they do. We make sure there's no hazing. They have responsibilities. They have primary leader change request forms. So when they change positions in like the Greek life, and we provide them lots of opportunities for fundraising, community service hours, and on Aggie Life, you get to track all those hours in your involvement, and that's all I can say about that.
Okay, Caesar, anything to add for that?
Yeah. So as an involvement mentor, we work very closely with these organizations. We do these things called we do presentations for these organizations. So we help work for them. So I did a couple presentations for Greek Life. They're very active on the community. A lot of them, you can find some that vary from academic to interest groups. So it's always good to look into them specifically to see what you're interested in. But they're great resources for being able to network, being able to develop your skills, anything like that. And then from what I hear, they're very good post-Davis. So once you graduate, their alumni networks are great for finding jobs, for staying connected to Davis if you want to keep being involved after graduating. They work very well with students for that.
Everyone in the audience, if you are going to live that Greek life or you want to, I want everyone to comment Greek life if you are going to. And as you are commenting, I do have another question from Anonymous. Is the terrain or sidewalk smooth enough for a skateboard? Or should we find an alternative option?
I've seen many people. Yeah. Many people ride skateboards.
So skateboards are all good?
Yeah.
Skateboards are great.
Skateboard, Anonymous. I saw in the chat when we were talking about biking that someone wanted to have wheelies. Are you too old enough to remember what wheelies are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely know what wheelies are. Remember those.
I'm just making sure. You guys are spring chickens over there. Okay. Next question from Maurice says, this might be a dumb question, but what if you don't know how to ride a bike?
Oh, interesting.
I think the Bike Barn provides classes for that. And I know they provide helmets for free. They could give you a free helmet at the Bike Barn.
Your first week at Davis, you can get bike lights, you can get helmets. They have classes for sure at the Bike Barn. It's located like in the middle of campus.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to access. They always have bike lights. Sometimes they'll have locks, and they also do bike auctions. So if you're trying to get a bike, it's a little bit expensive right now. I know that they do bike auctions there, so you can maybe get a bike for cheap there.
Yeah, it is good to learn how to bike because you could get biking tickets. Like I almost got a ticket once because I didn't fully stop at a stop sign, and I got pulled over. So you do have to learn how to bike.
And I see a lot of different comments in the chat almost saying, do we need to ride a bike? My years at Davis, I never once got on a bike. I walked absolutely everywhere, and I lived off campus, and I drove in. I parked at one of the many parking structures that we have, and I walked absolutely everywhere. I got my minimum 10,000 steps a day, got my Apple Watch. I made sure I was really active, so that's another way if you do not need to have a bike, and classes can be kind of far away, but for me, I had one class on one end of the campus and then another one on the other end, and I had that 10-minute 5-minute period, and I made it every single time. I learned how to fast walk, so you don't need a bike, but sometimes it is nice because everyone's just beating you, but it's okay. You don't need it. Yes, catch you speed walking. Yes, everyone's gonna take up the sport speed walking when you go to Davis and don't have a bike. That's why I can walk so fast. One of our last questions, asked by Anonymous, what would you say, both of you, and we'll start with Caesar, is the best way to make friends? Is it possible to meet people and make study groups in classes?
So definitely classes is the part where I've made friends, not only that help me in that class, but tend to stick with me throughout, because you'll have classes with your major groups. So everybody, if you're in a political science major, you'll have classes with those same type of students. So I have students that, I have friends that have been in a class with me every single quarter there at Davis. So those are the friendships that, the more time you're friends with them, the better it develops, the relationship. Then it's always helpful for more than just friendship. You guys can share notes, you guys can talk about the lectures, develop your ideas, stuff like that. So classes is definitely probably the best way for me. And other than that, clubs, organizations being in there, one of the most troublesome things for students is finding those first words to introduce yourself to somebody. But when you're in a club, you guys are there for the same interests. So then everybody already has those first words like, hey, this is the anime club. What anime are you watching right now? This easy way to introduce yourself and try to make friends with someone.
Ksenia?
Yeah, same for me. There's discussions in class, so they're like smaller groups, and usually you have to do like projects or do like assignments together. So I think that's the easiest way to make friends, and usually they stick with you because there's like similar classes of your major. So then you'll end up seeing them in another class, and then you just end up building those long-term friendships. And also the same with clubs and organizations. Like I'm in a student-run clinic, and that's like my family, and I've really built a good relationship with them. And like other organizations where you learn like common interests, and it's really nice.
And just about every single panelist today had some sort of experience of having a long-term friend and meeting people that they have in their lives forever. It's not something that we're all just saying. I mean, me included, one of my best friends, she's going to be in my wedding. I met her in my biology class at UC Davis, and we talk every single day. So if you are coming to UC Davis and you know absolutely no one, do not worry. I promise you, you will meet so many different people, and future spouses possibly, to just best friends that you will have for the rest of your life. And on that note, I do want to say thank you so much to Caesar and Yesenia. We will see you two later. And honestly, thank you so much to all of our awesome panelists today. We appreciate all of you joining us for Aggie Experience Live. Make sure to join us for the rest of the week at the same place, same time. Remember, tomorrow's topic is student life. For all of your questions, we are going to drop some URLs into the chat right now for programming for the rest of the week, or to rewatch any of our episodes. You know where to go, ucdavis.edu/Aggie Experience. If you have a follow-up question about admissions, don't miss our chat session after this. Chat with live admissions advisors starting at 5:15 p.m. at ucdavis.edu/QA. And if you have questions on literally anything we covered this week, you'll find answers at ucdavis.edu/experts. Before I go, do you want to see Winston? Who wants to see Winston? I need to see the chat blow up right now. Who wants to see Winston? Yeah, I need to see. Okay, let me get him. Here he is. He's sleeping. Oh, come here, Winston. Come here, Winston. Say bye to everyone. Winston wants everyone to be back tomorrow. He loves everyone. And again, thank you and good night. We will see you later.